All right. This segment's going to be solar panels, products, inverters, why we do, sizes, pricing, and the Storz battery. I'm going to start out with the Storz battery. That's the sheet I just handed you. You can take that sheet home and read it. The Storz battery I've been researching now for a little over 4 months. They've been in business 8 years.
Are they publicly traded?
Yep.
Bless you.
They did a side-by-side comparison that it didn't copy and paste, but it did a side-by-side comparison with LG, Tesla, Panasonic batteries, 10 kilowatts across the board. This doesn't have all the additional costs that are involved in the others. This has more cycles. And they did the 10 by 10 by 10 comparison because nobody else offers more than 10. They have a 20 kilowatt battery that I can install for about $11,500 that lasts you 20 years. And they guarantee 90% ratio in 20 years. They say the battery will last about 30 to 32 years before it dies. That's 80%. Huge.
80%. Start making car batteries out of that.
But there's really 90 is what the spec sheets are showing now. They guarantee 80.
Guarantee it, yeah.
Guarantee 80. And that's huge in a battery.
That's big.
Batteries don't last more than 8-9 years.
No.
That's why I didn't sell them. They were so high.
So if you have battery backup and the power goes out, you still have your solar still working.
Solar still, you're charging the battery and you're depleting the battery at night. And the cool thing about this one, it has an add-on that we can put into it. $450, it senses the weather. So if there's an impending storm, instead of it discharging, it will store the power so that when the storm comes, if any power goes out, the battery's got full battery. It has technology built into it. It's a smart battery. Kind of like our Bosch air conditioner. It's a smart battery. When I get the rest of my spec sheets, sorry, it was a last minute addition. Had to make the decision we were going to do this. But everything is hitting the checklist that it needs to be.
Side-by-side comparison sheets, got to have that.
I got that.
Yeah.
I was way impressed with that. But I'm not even going to sell the 10 kilowatt. I'm going to go straight to the 20. I can sell a 20 for half the cost Tesla's selling theirs, and there's no waiting period. Tesla's got a 9-month waiting period on their 10 kilowatt battery, and there's install fees behind it. You got to have certain things. Another $1,300 on top of the battery cost just to install it. I'll send you guys all, that's what I said. As long as I got your stuff here, you guys are going to get a packet from me probably tomorrow morning.
Oh, no, all right.
Okay?
Or you got me in there. You already got me in the packet?
If you're in there. That's why I said everybody got to sign up today so you get credit for the class. All right, as we sell solar panels, all of us, pretty much all of us in this room know how to do the calculation, but I'm going to make this simple for everybody. Instead of going in through the deep, deep math that's required to take a $400 bill, turn it into kilowatts, I'm going to show you the short way of doing it that's worked for me and hundreds of agents that I've trained. We're going to make it simple. Although we have the technical expertise, I'm going to break it down and make it really, really easy because this video is going to 24 people tomorrow that are indoor salesmen but have never done solar. That's why I'm going to keep this one nice and simple. Panels. We are using any panels right now. We're leaning towards the American-made Solar Worlds. We've got a few different, leaning towards the American-made ones. But no matter what we are installing, it's going to have a minimum of a 20-year warranty. I'm not selling a panel brand right now. Just sell the PV. Tell me what I need. 7.2 kilowatts. If we end up having to give them an extra panel and they go a little bit over, we'll do that. But the reason being is we're getting to the point now, we're going to buy container ships in about 3 more months. What that does, makes our panel price plummet because when you buy a whole container of panels that are high rated, 25-year warranty, and I can get them for 87 cents a watt,
300-watt panels.
yeah, they're always going to be good, high quality panels, always. So as we're doing our calculations in our homes, the way I've been teaching my greenhorns, instead of having them go through the mathematical calculation of taking the bill, analyze it, break it out into kilowatt, AC, DC, and all that, 1 kilowatt of PV kills a $20 electric bill in the state of Florida.
I've been using 18, but yeah. It's 18 to 23. 20
Yeah.
is the minimum. Yeah.
That's the easiest way to figure it out. When you do your chart, you took their $400 electric bill, you put a pool pump in, you put a radiant barrier in your attic, you put a hybrid hot water heater in, you put a energy efficient air conditioner, now you're looking at a $120 bill, you need 6 kilowatts of power up there. It's a good rule of thumb to get the greenhorns through without having to teach them a whole lot of freaking math. Okay? But I'm not selling a specific panel. You say I need 6 kilowatts, put on your contract. 6 kilowatts of solar PV.
Well, it has to be divisible by 3.
Just like I said, if I have to add a panel to make it right, I'll do that. But it may be a 295 panel, it may be a 325, it might be a 300. Just tell me what I need in PV. We'll take care of that part of it. All right, inverters. Personally, I do like the main inverters, but I'm really leaning towards the microinverters. I've always put the microinverters in when I have an east-west orientation, because you lose 16%. Go ahead.
Isn't there another, it's not an amplifier, but there's microinverters and there's also another thing, another device that goes on the back of the panel. It's not an amplifier, it's a
Optimizer.
Yeah, the optimizer.
Do the,
I'm gonna do some research on that, because from my understanding, the new optimizers is supposed to work just like the Enphase.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so are they both the same? Or is there
They do the same,
things?
theoretically, they do the same thing, but there's better stuff coming out.
Optimizers versus micros?
Micros, there's still a micro,
Micros that
but,
have optimizers in them?
right.
Optimizer just monitors the panel. It's just
Right.
monitor for the production, but Enphase actually changes it from the AC to DC.
At the panel instead of at the house.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But,
Which is better?
but the big thing is, do you want a main inverter
Right.
or do you want a microinverter?
Micro.
Me personally,
Micro.
if I've got a full southern roof, I have no problem putting a main inverter in. I've
Right,
done them
right.
forever, they're great, they work. But the only problem in a main inverter is your weakest panel is your strongest. That's all you're going to get.
Right.
That's why I use the microinverters and things like that, because
90% of the-
everything is its own entity. With a main inverter, you're only as strong as your weakest panel. So if you've got one that hits that shade at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, nothing else is producing more than that panel. Okay? It's the easiest way to analyze that one. This is why I'm swinging more the other direction. It costs a little bit more, but you get more performance out of it. Okay? I'll send spec sheets so you can see this.
Easier monitoring. There's a lot of benefits to that.
A lot of benefits
I mean,
to it.
optimizers, microinverters. Yeah, you go both ways with that.
Mm-hmm.
Might be you're right. Might be more expense, but in the long run, it's definitely worth.
It does the customer better.
It does, because they can get data, the work,
That's the goal.
efficiencies of each panel.
And that's one thing you're going to see about, we're going to be about quality. Everything you guys do, when you get your folders, there's a worksheet in it. Me, that's my worksheet. This is what I've worked off for years. To this day, when I submit a deal, I take a picture of that page along with my stuff and I send it up the pipeline. I'm going to require the same thing from you guys. I want to see how you got to where you got to. Send me your scratch pads. Only being because I'm not sitting there. But if you made a boo-boo, we'll catch it. We'll fix it.
So we're just selling microinverters. Why even sell
You can sell what you want. But I'm just telling you what my preference is and why.
Can I show you that?
Yeah.
What you-
Yep. And there's one in your folder too.
See, what, you might have an instance on these things when you're the 5th one that comes in on a bid,
So they already know about it,
so they know these things, but if
They don't want to spend the
hire-
money.
They don't wanna spend the money, but then it uses salesperson's aspect and say, well, these are the reasons why you wanna go with this at this price instead of this. $2 a month. $2 a month. You really wanna go this way or this way? Honestly, you've got this, this, and this you can do with the microinverters or optimizers. You can monitor much more, there's so many different things. Or a standard string inverter system itself, which your tree grows too much. There you go. Okay, now you got shade, 4.3 hours. Okay, you got a little shade in there. So there's a lot of issues, but it's a sale. Yes, absolutely go with that side of it. The micros and the optimizers are worth it, 100%. On that.
And it's not a big difference in the cost. It's only it's only a little on the grand scheme of a whole install. PV pricing, like I said, don't quote a panel, don't quote a size. Just say you need 6 kilowatts of PV, and I'm at $3.50 a watt. I've been selling at $3.50. The lowest I've ever gone was $3.27, and that's because I had to make some numbers work. But by doing this, it gives us a little latitude, a lot of latitude actually. Our leads are going to be changing. The leads we're getting now, I've been getting the same ones. I'm either the 2nd one in or the 5th one in, or you're having to be competitive, but this allows us to be competitive. You work out the deal, and they've had Solar City in there last week, and their price is $42.9, and you're at $47. That's where you start sharpening your pencils. You look at your par list. Okay, I got to drop below par. Call Ron or Gary. Okay, this is what I got. What can I do? And just tell us, this is the bill, this is what I'm putting in, this is my total price. Give me 5 minutes to sharpen a pencil. We'll work something out.
And Solar City just does solar, right?
Yes.
That's it.
They don't
That's
do
it.
AC and all the other stuff. So you can say, okay, they're at 42. I can do the same thing. I can still eliminate your power bill for the same 42, but I'm gonna get you a brand new air conditioner, brand new hot water heater.
Right.
instead.
Brand new roof.
You know, everything. You know,
Which is,
they were gonna charge you just for freaking solar.
which leads us right into the next category, which is roof. As I stated before, I will not, our installers, if they show up on a roof and it ain't got 10 years of life left in it, it's not going on that roof. We're going to be putting a roof on that house. That customer's going to get, you might as well figure that out when you're there the first time.
How old is the roof?
Yep. Ask them, how old is it? As what I do when I'm walking up to the door, I got my bag on my arm, I look up so you can see the plane of the roof. If you're looking straight up, the pitch of the roof, you can start seeing if it's doing a wave or getting thick. Okay? If it is, it's when you walk in the door and through the process of your discovery, just ask them, how old is that roof? Oh, came with the house. Well, here was the house built. Start.
Sell that thing anytime soon?
Yep. So you start asking the questions.
Yeah, you have to remove the whole PV system
But,
and then.
but what I'm finding is right now, about 53% of my customers are getting a roof. So we need to start learning how to bid it. The problem in roofing structures, I can get you pretty much to a one-call close. But it's probably going to be a second visit because somebody's probably going to have to get on that roof. Unless you guys want to start carrying ladders.
Not on my camera.
Okay? I have got a fold-up ladder in mine. If you get a roof and you're talking to the customer about replacing it, please call me or Gary. We have certain software and things we have access to, and I've done roof long enough, I can get you within a square or so, which isn't a big difference. We're only talking $300 one way or the other. I can get you so close it won't matter. I will teach certain people how to do roof down the road, but the only way you can actually figure it out is get up there with a tape measure and walk it, tape measure it, and then there's a calculation based on a lot of different factors of how many squares is it. If it's just an up and over, it's easy, but most of them are chopped up. Like my house I'm doing. There's no calculation in the world as a roofer that I can take an 1,800 square foot home that's 412 pitch and tell you how many squares that is. If it's got any dormers or anything else in it. If it's up and over, I can get it pretty damn close.
Unless it's a rectangle, up and over.
If it's up and over, I can get it pretty close. If it's got one hip, I can get it pretty close. Close enough you can write that deal.
Oh, my house is fine.
Okay? But just know that if you walk up, you need a roof. If you really don't know how to get close enough, call somebody. We'll help you get through it. We'll give you a number while you're sitting at the table. And they get a 30% solar tax credit. So it's a win. And most homeowners are already realizing they're gonna need a roof. So if you can put it in a package deal for them that makes sense, why not? Okay? I have roofers. Shingle. If you're blindly writing one, like I do. Did I put it on here? I thought I did. Yep, I did. I think that's your sheet. I stole it.
Looking for a sheet, man.
On your par sheet, anytime I'm doing shingle, I'm doing a tear off. I don't overlay. It's Florida.
Yeah,
There's companies that do. Cuts about $50 a square off. Save the customer about $1,000, but now you've doubled the weight on that roof. Not doing it. After 2, you have to tear it off. I tear off every single time. I got a company that'll do it for me, $420 a square, financed per square. That's a 10 by 10 section of roof. Most 1,400 square foot homes are around 28 squares total. Around. I can get your metal roofs done with a 40-year metal with a color of their choice. Done on site. That build time though is running about 2.5, 3 months out. And I can do that for $625 a square.
So I hope they don't want a metal roof and solar then.
If they do, you just plan it that way. Me, I'm probably putting a metal roof on my house, more than likely.
That's a long time to wait to get paid.
I can tell you right now, I can get the metal roof on and your solar on in about the same amount of average time as everybody else that's installing, doing normal stuff.
Solar,
yeah, but we're not.
5 to 6 weeks.
I don't want to be that.
No.
How long did you say the lag was on the metal roof?
Metal roof, about 2 months.
2 months. So
About that.
8 weeks.
And on my metal roof,
That book.
when you're doing your paperwork, I need to know if they want it clipped. I don't penetrate metal. But you're going to explain to them I'm going to clip it, which means we're going to undo the panel, put the clip underneath it, and put a new lag bolt right through it. Okay? We don't penetrate metal roofs. There's companies out there that do. Suncool did it. That man's roof leaked. Bad. And it was a brand new roof. I put the roof on and they drilled through it.
I thought you said Suncool's bankrupt.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Well, there you go.
What they're doing now, they owe customers money for products they didn't install, and they're having to wait for that install money to pay that. It's a train wreck.
Yeah.
Okay? This is what it is. We all, I think most of us in this room have worked for companies that didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
I've been through a couple. Me and him, we began in the solar industry together. He just gave up early. This man's a pastor. Okay? 3 of the new team members I'm bringing are pastors in the various sections of the state. Just a miracle how that happens.
Miracle.
All right.
Finance.
I'm going to finish roofing right quick. If you're pitching a roof, most people are going to pick shingles. I typically use a 25-year architectural style. I don't put 3 tabs on. You will get sent a color chart based on the brand of shingle that we're using, so you can tell the customer, pick one. Otherwise, it's going to require the roofing division walking by with the board and say, which color would you want? That's the most accurate way to do it. But if you can get a general idea what color they want, it's close enough usually. We'll verify it later down the road when we're doing it. Shingles, I can usually get it done in 2 weeks. They're running a couple weeks behind. The good ones. Trust me, I just went through one at Luma. 6 months later, my roof still wasn't on. All right, finance. Right now we have 22 lenders and growing. We're always working on something bigger, better, and badder. A lot of what I'm favoring towards right now is Sunlight Financial, but they only do PV, and Interconnect, and they do PV, but they have other loans that do others. What I'm finding, because I've done this so long, my best rates are PV only loans, but we don't want to do PV only.
Well, you just do 2 contracts.
So you do 2 contracts. I'm sending you guys out with complete folders, which will have your audit. You can use this sheet if you want. Their contract. I'm sending you home with folder with about 5 extra contracts. Reason being, you sit down with, I got it. In fact, I can do it right now. Maybe. This was my rough draft. This one I sold at $4 a watt. The tree coming down, I bid at $6,600. It's costed me $3. We made money. What I did on this, when I sat down and did the proposal, I knew I was using Solar World panels because that's what I normally never put the brand type of panel on there because what you put on here by the time it goes to get installed may be different. Okay, but that's what we've got a truckload. It's already set for this install. When I did my rough draft, this was the first one I did. When I went back and did my final, I did Solar World 295, 24 panels, remove oak tree in backyard, $44,200. Sign here. Then I did a separate contract on the same paperwork and put the Pentair pool pump, the saltwater pool system, the Bosch AC, the instant-on hot water heater, no charge. And explained to my customer right then and there, all this is going to get installed in about the same window, about 6-8 weeks down the road. But when the bank calls, the day the PV's installed and all the green lights are done, you installed PV only, and it's installed to your satisfaction. Don't tell them about everything else. And I stress that to them a number of times. Because if one customer calls and says, oh yeah, I got a new air conditioner, I got a saltwater pool system, guess what? They're going to kick that loan sideways. I can go rewrite it somewhere else, but I can't get them 3.9% interest. So, do you want the 3.9% interest,
And it goes to 6.9.
or do you want 6.9? Okay?
Play along.
Trust me, your customers, if you're scripting them right and closing them right, will gladly tell that finance company they got PV only at this price. And I got everything else for free. That don't matter. They just can't say they paid for it. Okay? I don't even let it tempt to the gray area. Just tell them, I got my PV installed and it looks great. Okay? That way we get funded faster. We get funded easier.
Don't go through all this stuff, right?
Yeah. But at closing, I stress it. When we're doing the signing of everything, I stress to them, you need to do this. Hold their hand through it. Because if they screw it up, it screws up the funding. And don't you have one in the pipeline at Luma like that? Hanging? Don't you have one at Luma hanging?
Yeah, well, I've got one I'm supposed to get paid on Friday that's been 3 weeks, permitting and all this other bullshit. And then the other one was the guy committed fraud and fucked us out. Basically fucked us out of the whole thing.
There's nothing you can do on that.
They're taking the court over it.
That's fine. You'll never get your money, just so you know.
When the guy sells his house, they will.
Yeah.
They'll put a lien on his house.
Right. You'll never get your money.
I know. I'm not holding my breath on that one.
Suncool owes me $57,000. I got past it a while back. 57 grand. Never got paid. All right. So in your packet,
Didn't get past it.
So you wrote the one contract at $6.20 a watt?
right, you have to do your math and make sure it fits. Okay? Don't go over 620 a watt.
It's
Don't.
624, but
We can actually go to 650, but don't go over 620 a watt without picking up a phone. Okay? You can usually do a $300 electric bill, put all the stuff in to get them to zero, and get it in that $6 range.
yep,
And it flies right through.
yep.
I've been doing it like that. It flies right through like butter. Just does it. But let us know you're doing it. Please. Okay? Put
Well,
it.
you'll know, because we were going through financing for you, so.
But yeah, but put it in your tracking also.
Oh,
Okay? Because yeah, certain people will know, but everybody needs to know that's in the back office. Tracking's just fixing to get better. Soon as you start getting an inkling of a deal, start them on the application for credit. The way I get this disseminated as quickly as I can, I have an app on my phone called Cam Scanner. It's like a fax machine. You take a picture of a document and you either do a single or you can do multiple documents, and as it's done, when you save it, it'll look at each document and make sure you don't need to crop it or highlight it or do certain things to it before it's sent. So it nearly cleans your documents up before you get there. You can cam scan that right at the table or send me a good clear picture so I can start running an idea. Don't send me an application without giving me a ballpark idea how much money you're looking for. When we ask, it's nice if you're not 100% sure, like you're debating a few little options, go high. If you think it's going to be a $45,000 install, but you're going back and forth, shoot me that. Give me 5 minutes and a $45,000 figure. I can always drop a contract to 42 or 40. It's harder to get more money. Okay.
Do you have the credit app that it has more room?
This has everything on it I need.
So does the other one, but the way it's laid out, that one doesn't have enough room for a lot of the stuff, like the phone numbers, you gotta really write them really teeny and stuff, it's a pain in the ass. I've used that application and the other one, and they both have the exact same information, but the way it's laid out, it gives you much more room for their email, for their,
I'll look at it.
yeah.
In your packet is a notice of commencement. It's a generic form. Okay? This has to go through the permitting departments. Might as well get it signed at the table. It keeps me from having to send a body to your house to get that piece of paper signed. In addition to what's going to evolve, and I'll have it sent out to you, I just didn't get them printed. I'm going to make you a master packet. You'll have these folders you walk into the house with. You'll have a manila folder, or however you decide to do it, with every county permit, NOC that's required, and power and utility company interconnect agreement. If you can get those signed at the closing table, you just shaved about a week off your install time. I'll look at it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create you a master file, because there's Duke, there's FP&L. If you've got a region you work in and you only have 1 or 2 power companies, you only got to carry 1 or 2 power companies. But for years, my bag, I've had a manila folder with every utility company in the state of Florida and about 5 copies of each. The interconnect agreement. Because if you get that signed, what has to happen is, if you don't get it signed at the table, somebody's going back to the house to get NOCs, permits. When you can just get signatures, we can fill in the blanks easily. It just helps shave some time off the install period. It's something we are doing, but I'm just giving you a heads up now. If you guys will carry a manila folder around, you say, okay, I'm in a Duke house, Duke, and get 2 more signatures while you're already getting 10 signatures, I can shave about a week off our install time, because I don't have to send a body back to that house. Okay, I've got 2, I'm a notary, but mine's expired. And I've got another girl that's coming on board that's a notary. certain documents have to be notarized. But if you sat with the customer, that's good enough for me. This isn't such a legal, we're not buying a house. Okay? We're just trying to get a permit. So if you do that at the table, it's going to make things streamline a little easier.
And you take a picture, you always take a picture of their license anyways?
Yep, well, that leads me to this sheet. This is your checklist.
Picture of the driver's license is on the checklist, I would imagine.
Yep.
So you can look at their signature, so being a notary, you can legitimately verify that it is their signature.
You guys are going home with a bunch of these today. I sat building them last night. All right, checklists. Pictures needed, roof, meter, electrical panel, open and closed. Copies needed, signed notice of commencement, signed contract, a copy of their power bill. Really important, has information in it, has a picture of it. Email it to me, whatever. I don't have a power bill that comes to my house. I have to get in my portal and download it. They can do that.
Card or just the number, social security?
Whole card if they got it. The more information, the better. Most customers have their social security cards. You're going to come across a few that lost them through the years.
Most people know it off the top of their head.
Doesn't matter, I need a picture of it. Some of the banks require we to have a picture of it. We're covering all the bases, okay? I'm still learning all my banks, but we got 22 of them. It's better to get all the stipulations we may not need than have to go back and try and get it later.
Have it, not need it, then need it, not have it.
Right. Mortgage statement, that's if you're doing a PACE deal, so you don't run into problems like he's having. Okay, we're still working on PACE isn't everywhere, and there's a lot of quirks in it, but if you're in a neighborhood and they got bad credit, doesn't hurt to look. We are PACE, Y Green, and Renew qualified.
Renew,
Yeah.
Renew's the best bet.
They kind of overlap each other. They're pretty much in the same areas, but some reach out a little bit further than others.
Well, Renew and Y Green are not all in the same areas. Because
Every entity, even though they're government, they're overlap. You just all you got to do, renew. Punch the house number in. It'll tell you if it qualifies or not.
Right.
If you get a deny, go to PACE. Same thing.
yeah, I got the,
If you get a deny, go to Y Green. If they all say no, guess what? There ain't no government funding for you today.
not doing it.
Okay? It's not everywhere. It's hit and miss. And I'd say realistically, about 30% of Florida is covered by government funding. That's it. It's not much. All right. Make sure you get your credit application signed. If you're at the table, you're going to go move forward with financing. Shoot me a copy of the driver's license, social security card, total amount that you're looking for, and the application. And within about 5 to 6 minutes, I can have a yes or no. Okay? AC?
If you do have a yes, at that point, would you be able to send us an email with the DocuSign stuff?
Probably.
But not
But
within 5 minutes.
you can at least get all of our documents signed, because sometimes, depending on the holiday, I had one that took 2 hours for them to get the DocuSign done at the finance company.
They're going to email the DocuSign to the homeowner's email.
Right.
Yeah.
And then all you do is you tell the homeowner,
That DocuSign is awesome.
Yeah.
If they can do it within 30 to 40 minutes, then I'll sit there with them and wait.
but I can't guarantee what they do.
But
So,
even so, if it's late at night and I want to go home, I might just leave and say, make sure you check your email, and I'll be checking back with you tomorrow to make sure.
well, the way I'm setting it up is so the DocuSign comes to you first. You sign your signature on it as the agent, and then it forwards to the customer, so you can call the customer and say,
That's right.
hey, your DocuSign's in your email. Can you take a look at that?
Yeah.
Walk them through it.
I walk them through
Go
it.
pull it up
That's
so I can walk you through it.
Exactly.
That DocuSign's off the chain.
Okay? But if all else fails, because what I was running, it was almost 4 hours. I ain't sitting there that long. Get our stuff signed.
Yeah.
That's a contract. That's just the financial side of it, okay? And not all lenders do DocuSign. That's the other issue we have. I know you love it. I love it too, but not everybody has it. When you're doing an AC, I need pictures of all the decals, inside and out. model number, serial number. You're going to find if it's been outside for a lot of years, they're gone. Guess what? Most of that information is going to be on the air handler, which is usually on there. If not, I need pictures of the AC unit, picture of the air handler, where it's sitting.
Step back a little so you get the box and plenum.
Breaker panels. You've been doing this for a minute. You know, open that panel and make sure you got a couple spots in there. If not, they need a panel upgrade. Okay, if you open up a breaker panel and it's full, add $500 because they're going to have another box. Okay. Water heater. I need pictures of the existing water heater, where it sits, the area around it, and a label. Manufacturer, data manufacturer, so on and so forth. It tells me sizes and things so I can make sure what we got fits in there. I just did an install. I put a Reams 50-gallon in place of a antique 50-gallon. Guess what? That thing's a little bit bigger, but it went in that hole. It's shoehorned though. Okay, we're not using Buildertrend, but there will be a CRM such as Buildertrend that we use. In the beginning, we're going to maintain the docs that some of you already have. We're going to make sure you have them by the rest of the night. We're going to do a Google spreadsheet your appointments go into, so everybody that needs to see it sees it. The CRM that we're getting, we're going to do one for the district that we're working until you guys really start writing deals, because this thing's a cost per user. I'm not spending $100 per user until we figure out who's staying with the company for more than a month. Okay? So we'll do one blanket one that everybody can see, but once you write 2-3 deals, you'll have your own CRM that we can see. It will track everything you do. Okay? I'll have that by next week. You guys will have access to your CRMs. It's a
tracking software.
Yep. It tracks your contracts. You'll see your contracts. You'll see your paperwork. You'll see your house. It'll track when you got the appointment, when it's set for. It'll track when you're on your way there. It'll send the customer a text message saying Joe is on his way. When you arrive, we will know it. When you leave, the customer...
I have to text on site when I get there?
It's nice if you do, but I'm going to know it.
That was one of the requirements, when you get to the appointment, text on site, and then once you get in the house, you
I know.
either call to let them know I'm in, or just type in and send. You know, because a lot of times you'll get there and be a no-show, one leg, blah, 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 and you end up bailing on it, but on site just means you're in the driveway.
Either way,
At the appointment.
at the end of your day, either myself or Gary need a phone call on the status of your appointments. Just tell us how it went.
The CRM won't automatically track that anyway.
I still want a phone call.
Okay.
Because if you, the CRM will track no sale, but my first question is, why?
Why? Yeah.
What was their objection? Is it money? Is it
Well,
credentials?
You should have probably gone over that when you did the TO call.
But I don't always get the TO call.
But you will.
Trust me, I've got agents
But
out
you
there.
will.
They sat with clients, and a week later, I'm still waiting to find out how it went. That's not going to happen anymore.
No,
Because if I don't know how your appointment went, I can't help you make it a deal later down the
You
road.
need to make it a rule that if you don't write it up, call before you leave the house.
That's kind of good too, because I would definitely want to do that.
I always wanted to.
If you don't write it up, call before
if-
you leave the house.
I want to close everybody I can.
Well, I got
Well, that's just it, and that's what we're here for.
So,
right.
I gotta call.
Don't walk out like-
Walk
walk
let
out
them know
like
that I'm
you're-
done, so they can send me my next appointment. Is what you tell the customer, and you get on the phone. Yeah.
Sound familiar?
And he goes,
Yeah.
What's going on there? Well, you know, they this, that, and the other, blah 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 blah.
Did you work with Dale Prime?
Well, they ask you what's the why are they doing it? So so you're having this conversation with the manager in front of the customer, and they're like, and you're the customer's hearing the bullshit that they tried to feed you why they're not doing it out loud.
Right.
They're going, yeah, that really doesn't make any sense, does it? I guess I am stupid. I should do this, shouldn't I? You know, and then at that point, if you have to drop or whatever, you got
Right.
higher authority, blah blah blah. You should never
Yeah.
let anybody
What-
leave the house without calling you first. Period. That should be a rule.
Period. Agreed. But not everybody does that.
I I didn't always do it either, but even though it was a rule.
That's the key. That's the
I
key.
go down the
Well,
house and I tell them,
it's-
look, they were assholes.
It's going to be like this.
Well, the way I look, I've been in sales before.
You got
I
one
hear-
last shot at it. by
And,
calling
and,
it-
and
calling
what it is,
manager.
what did you go to the house for? You went to the house to make a sale. This is your business. This is your job. I don't want to leave if I can't close it. You're not, when you're not, boom, boom, boom. Once you get to the level that you want to be, other than that, you call Ron and Gary because you want that deal.
It's your
break the
it's your
price down,
last
break the
hope
deal.
of
Put the power-
getting it when you're sitting there. And if not, even if you don't call if it's just a flat out no, and you're going to know the reason why. You call me or Gary and say, yeah, it's just in a bad neighborhood. Really ain't no money there, da-da-da. We'll leave it alone. But if you're hey, I'm in a decent house, they just indecisive. I'll leave it up to you. You gonna follow up with it? I follow up with every single one of mine. I have spreadsheets. I have Google spreadsheets of every appointment I've ever been dispatched on for 8 years. And I have it still on my hard drive. Guess what we're gonna start working next week? I'm gonna dole those leads out because about half of them I never got to sit in front of because I lost faith in the company I was writing for. Okay? So we're going to have some fresh leads that we can work. Idea being, we need to know what happened with the appointment because if you're going to go sideways and bail on it and not call it back, we will. Because it might just be a different voice or they may need a drop or need a little more reassurance on a product knowledge or you never know what it is. But I'm not one to give up. I get the 3 no rules. You're going to give me 3 good positive no's before I leave your house. My average appointment is an hour and a half.
7, you're supposed to be 7, not 3, 7.
My average appointment is an hour and a half. 2.5 with paperwork. Love the one you're with. I'm closing half of my deals easily, and I haven't started working hard.
Because I think that one of the key things once you get to you're doing it, man, you got to make them like you.
And he hit it right there.
You got to make them like you.
Almost every single one of my green.
Everything negative. You
I don't
can't.
have to have anybody like me.
You know what I'm
Anybody
saying?
like me, man.
You know what I'm saying? Win a friend and do a soul. And do a sad. You know?
Everybody love me.
You know what I mean? You're there to help them, like part of the family. They break down that wall. Once they break down that wall, and they trust you, or they can do it. If they can do it, then you get it. That's it.
All right. One of the biggest things I encourage you guys to do is you're working your appointments and working your deals. There's these wonderful things that we pay for called door hangers. If you walk into a gated community and there's no soliciting, it's a great, but it's not soliciting if you hang it on their door. It's soliciting if you knock on their door. Okay?
Cops don't honk at that.
And you just don't work that neighborhood. But you know what? There's more neighborhoods that don't have that than do. I always hang the neighborhood I'm working in. Spend an extra 10 minutes. If you're there extra early, I'm always early for my appointment. When I walk back out the door, I'll grab a stack and I'll walk up and down the street. You'll get a 1% return on it consistently. Okay? I encourage it. I'd like y'all to take some home with you when you're done. We've got one more segment to do, which is paperwork. So I can make sure you all get paid.